Hello everybody, hope you're having a fantastic day today. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Today, I got 76 tips and tricks for you for 2025. I'm sure there's a couple here, maybe even some of you veterans may not be aware of. Let me know in the comments any of your tips and tricks as well. Let's get into it here. Okay, so to start with, I would highly recommend that you rename your weapons. Say you really like this combat knife. I would rename it. Now, you can put different things at the front of the name in order to put it to the top of your list, but I always put a dash because it will always put everything to the top of the list if you use letters after that, if that makes sense. So if you name your, knife here AAA, after, switch menus and come back, it will be at the top of the menu. You can do this with armor as well, too. So thought that was a good little tip and trick, as well as Wrecking Ball. This is more of a recent change, and if you're unaware why this is amazing or why you would actually want to damage your own objects at your camp, is because you can put stuff inside of walls. Is just one of the reasons, actually. So say you have like a wall and you want to just put this Nuka-Cola mystery machine in the wall a little bit more, you can actually break the wall, put it in the wall, and then repair the wall. This is probably a little bit overkill. You kind of had to see I had to do this over again, but that's the thing. You can also see that I can't put it in the wall otherwise. So it's just kind of cool that we can do this now. We used to have to use like a flamethrower in order to do this with like a little bit of a trap. So now you just have to put on the perk card, Wrecking Ball, and you're pretty much good to go to put stuff in your walls, and then it'll just look fantastic. The Gleaming Depths. Now, I know a lot of you, maybe younger people, you guys can't do the raids yet, or you're just not into it yet, it's not your thing, but I do highly recommend checking stuff, like especially loot bags left near the raid spot, especially if you're a newer player. Highly recommend you come over here. Sometimes you might find some useless stuff like I found there. Sometimes you might find a lot of useful stuff, like all the Radaway back there. You can see I found some treasure maps here and some stim packs, so highly recommend coming over here if you do get a chance, especially if you're a beginner. There's probably a lot of good loot on the ground, maybe even some mutations. You do get a lot of them from the raids. Also, you only need your perception to be level 5 in order to hit certain types of limbs, to basically hone in on the limbs. If you're under 5 perception, you're going to see I'm going to put it to 4 here. It will automatically just default to torso, basically. So just keep that in mind. You don't need concentrated fire anymore. You just have to have a 5 perception in order to lock onto the limbs, including the head and all that. Now, with the camp spawns, just for an example here, I had a camp that it would always spawn me outside of the map, basically, like where you cannot go. You can see it coming up in the left there. I would basically have to fast travel to my camp in order to be able to walk around. Now, I didn't know until recently that you can actually change your spawn location at your camp by moving your little workshop thing, which I'm going to show you here. You can see I had to fast travel in twice to get away from that area over there. So this is probably not the best place for my little workshop thing. So we're going to go into the camp menu. We're going to move our workshop, and just there's not like that I can find a rhyme or reason to it. Just move it around until you find you get a good spawn location. You're gonna have to spawn in a couple times. I suggest going and doing something and forgetting about it and just keep coming back to it until you find a spawn that works for you. You can see it worked here for me, and I didn't have to, fast travel to my house twice anymore. When you are cooking, you can toggle craftable. So if you want to know what you can cook out of a huge list of things you can cook, just toggle the craftable at the bottom and it'll show you what you can cook with the items on you. Speaking of cooking too, just throwing this out there, especially for herbivores, corn soup is awesome. It's very easy to make. It just takes a little bit of corn, a little bit of dirty water, and each corn soup will actually fill up your food meter, your hunger meter and your thirst meter. It'll fill them both up. So it's just a very useful soup. It's very easy to make. Thought you guys might have a use for this. Now, for when it comes to selling stuff in your vending machine, just to go over it quickly, mods are great to sell right now. You know, 1,000 for a 1-star, 3,000 for a 2, 5,000 for a 3-star, and that's just for kind of like useless mods. It depends what you're selling, and I'm not going to really get into the prices like for like a Blood Eater, a 4-star. You guys just make a decision on what it's worth to you. Of course, rare plans, especially ones that you get from limited time events like Fast Snack or even the Mothman Equinox event, stuff like that will always sell very good, including ammo I would suggest as well too. 45s, fuel, 5.56s, put them all for 1 caps each, ladies and gentlemen. I buy ammo a lot at vendors, and if it's more than 1 cap, I usually won't. So just throwing that out there. I would assume most of us know about the sulfur fountain here at White Springs now. If you didn't know about this drinking fountain, when you have a disease, you can drink from it, and this fountain will cure your disease. Now, there's actually 2 more of these, and if you're not aware of them, I'll link a video in the description showing you where the other 2 are. Power armor frames are very useful, especially if you're hanging on to a lot of legendary stuff. Say you're at, you're doing eviction notice and you get a bunch of legendary armor. If you put a bunch of heavy armor on your chassis, it will still only weigh 10 pounds rather than like 30, 40 pounds for all the pieces. And even more into carry weight, just throwing this out there, strong back is absolutely awesome now. The higher your strength is, the more carry weight you will have. So if you're a bloodied build and your stats are just through the roof, you can see I got up to 67 plus carry weight here. That's almost better than a backpack mod, or it is better than a backpack mod at that point. Bird bones. Oh my god, this is awesome. If you are running in a power armor constantly and you are sick of the crashing down, bird bones is what you need. It's a mutation. I will link a video in the description explaining mutations. If you don't, you almost need this with a power armor. Popcorn is actually pre-war food if you didn't know. It's also a candy as well, so if you need to do any of those daily challenges, popcorn is a very good way to do it. And I just want to show the cryo freezer as well. This will keep your food from spoiling as long as you have one in each one of your camps. Keep that in mind, and you can keep your food in here for as long as you like. And the reason I wanted to mention this alongside with the popcorn machine is because you can get both of these at Crater from Mortimer when your rep is high enough. You're not going to see the company, or sorry, not the company T machine here. You're going to see the popcorn machine here for me and not the cryo freezer because it doesn't show up after you've purchased it. Now, learning legendary mods. If you can craft weapons that have legendary mods on it, you can scrap them to learn the mods. It's probably one of the best way to learn legendary effects. Facebreaker's a great one. You can learn Furious, 40% power attack, 3+ strength, just from making these and scrapping them. Keep in mind, Super Duper does work with this. You're going to want to throw that on so you have more chances at scrapping these legendary effects. Now, I have a heavy gunner build here, but it's also kind of like a critical build. So I'm just throwing this out there. If you have a lot of critical perk cards on, or if you've been using my build specifically, there's probably a good chance it's a critical type build as well. I highly recommend you try a fixer or even a handmade. Even without the perk cards, commando and whatnot, just the critical perk cards alone still make this gun very useful. And it's just nice to have on you. It's very nice in the VATS. Now, the White Springs bunker here, I do want to show you as well because you can get a free X01 power armor. Well, not the power armor, but you can get the plans for it. Now, you need to have completed the main quest to become an Enclave General in order to come through here. I will link a video in the description explaining how to do this. You will be able to come in here, but you won't be able to access the military wing, which I'm showing here. The command specifically, you will not be able to come up to and come over to this terminal here. But if you already are at Enclave General, again, if you're not, I'll link a video. You can just come up to this terminal and you can come over to the schematics here and click on them, and then boom. You have all the knowledge to build yourself a prototype X01, as you can see here. Simple as that, is just going up to the terminal. The hard part is becoming the general. Again, I'll link the video in the description. Now, I know a lot of people, or most people, are probably familiar with stash boxes. This is not the only type of stash box. There are lots of types of stash boxes. There's the seedy shed that I have here, which may be, not as noticeable, but this bookshelf is a very popular one. It is a stash box. The toolbox is a stash box. These will all be stash boxes in your camp or other people's camps. So if you're having trouble finding them in people's camps, make sure you're checking all, the trunk type stuff. Even the safe over here is a stash box. Inspirational is very important now for ranking up. It's just 1 point, and the higher you can get your charisma, the more XP you will be getting. Also, another quick way to rank up is just sleeping in your bed for 30 seconds. It will prompt you at the top left when you have the bonus, and it is 5% for at least an hour. It'll be more if you have an ally, so just wanted to throw that out there with that as well. You can put your survival tent up in the air. Now, this was one of the places I knew, but there's probably other places you can do this, and I just thought it was kind of cool. Thought I would throw this in the video as well. Maybe it'll give you a little bit of height in case you want to get away from, those pesky enemies hitting you when you're fighting the Scorched Beast Queen. I just thought this was very cool. If you need burnt books or resetting the server, like enemies, bobbleheads, it resets all junk. I will leave a video in the description going over how this actually works, but basically if you pick up 250 plus items, I think it's actually 260 plus items, it will reset the server so you're able to go pick up everything again if you want. Now this place is very good for that, is because there's at least 260 burnt books at this place in Somersville. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, maybe there's a specific junk that you're looking for. Who knows? It definitely comes in handy. Again, I will link a video in the description explaining this a little bit more, and it's just good for cloth as well. There's also some board games here as well. This is definitely a place you want to get familiar with. There's books downstairs, there's books upstairs that I'm showing here, and it's just great for resetting the server. Keep in mind you will have to hop to another server after you pick up all these items. Events are amazing for XP, not only for beginners, but just anybody really. People pop lunchboxes at events, and you can share XP basically. So if you're a beginner, that means all you have to do is tag enemies. So you only have to shoot them once, and then the server will pretty much do the rest. You can see I'm shooting a bunch of aliens here at the Invaders from Beyond event, and I continuously get XP, and I didn't even really kill any aliens here. So just throwing that out there, this is a very good way to rank up if you're a beginner. Some free, or not free, I should say, some very cheap fixer or combat rifle paints I wanted to show here, and a backpack skin as well. Not a lot of people know about this. You can come to June here, and you can purchase the plans. They are very cheap. They're like barely 200 caps. I am going to show all the paints here, excluding the backpack. Sorry, I didn't include that. Just wanted to show this for the gun because I know a lot of people use the fixer. But yes, this is the gunmetal paint. We have the rusted paint as well, and the Vault-Tec paint. So, 600 caps, you got 3 paints for the fixer or the combat rifle. You can get up to 600 bullion a week. I think this resets on Mondays, if I'm not mistaken, around 8 p.m. Not 100% sure on that, but you can talk to Smiley. You need to have completed the main quest involving Crater and Foundation, and then you can purchase up to 300 bullion for 6,000 caps from this gentleman here. Sorry, it was 300. If you want to reset your private server again, just to, for enemies or whatever it may be, you do not have to wait 5 minutes. You can just go over, start one of these crazy worlds, cancel it, and then go back in to your private, and then you will see it will not find the world. It will be building another one. Keep in mind if you don't have any friends in your world still, because then it will save it and it will find it. Let's talk about some free atoms, basically. Not exactly free, but especially if you're a beginner, there is a lot of simple challenges here in the main menu that you can go and do to get and earn tons of atoms. So just keep that in mind. You'll probably see these going off if you're a bit of a newer player, because you'll probably just do a lot of them on accident. But just keep in mind you can go in the settings and check them out there. And I just want to talk about re-rolling weeklies and dailies. I would never re-roll dailies, just weeklies. You get an extra 550 score rather than just a couple hundred for a daily. Now what I do is I just try to re-roll ones that I think I will complete by accident. I know there's some you really can't help but complete, so those are the ones I kind of try to re-roll, and then at the end of the week when I have as many as I can re-rolled, that's usually when I'll pop a booster and get the extra score. So make sure you're doing those dailies, guys. There's not a daily that you can't complete in a couple of minutes, trust me. Especially by the end of the video, I'm going to show you a couple of tricks here completing dailies, like mole rats. If you ever need to find mole rats, you can come up to the transmission station here. I needed to find 5 for the daily. I swear there is 5 up here, but there was only 4 for some reason. So if you need another one, you could just come back to the bunker entrance, shoot this car, and there's a couple mole rats over there. That should finish it for you. Also, if you need to find Rad Stags, Denton Sons construction here in the South Savage Divide here, you're going to spawn in, you just do a bit of a 180, and you come up here, you're looking for a bit of like a red barn, I guess you would say, and there's always like 4 or 5 Rad Stag over here. I know they can be a bit tricky to find, but this is a guaranteed spawn. They should always be here unless somebody killed them. If you need Rad Scorpions, you can come to Smith Farm here. There's 3 of them that spawn over here. If you need rad toads, you can come to Grafton over here. Always rad toads over here, guys. Always rad toads. Don't re-roll those dailies. If you need a Mirelurk hunter, I know the Mirelurk locations don't always have a hunter. If you need a specific hunter, you can come over to here. The hunter always spawns here in the ash heap. Not a king, it's always a hunter. If you need... oh, what are they called? Anglers. If you need anglers, you can come to the Gnarled Shallows here. Look for the glowing, I guess, tentacle or whatever you want to call it, you know, coming out of the water here. There's 3 or 4 of them over here, but you may have to coerce them to come out of the water. Big Bend Tunnel East. I'm showing this location because if you're a carnivore especially, there's a pepperoni roll you can purchase here from Rudy. It will give you a lot of extra carry weight. This is more of a carnivore thing, and I just want to show you can get 2 of them from him. And where we were talking about the wayward earlier too, sometimes one spawns on the bar here as well. If you need aluminum, you can come over to Harper's Ferry here, maybe the Burrows South just to get a little bit closer. And this spot right here, all these little air condensers have a coolant cap in them, which is 2 aluminum each. There's a ton of them over here. A very easy way to get aluminum, and you can keep hopping servers and keep getting more and more. It's not something you would need to reset with the books like we were talking earlier. If you need screws or maybe some gears or even some lead, this spot on the roof over here is a little elevator shaft that you can sneak down here, and there is a ton of typewriters, desk fans, antique globes. They all have screws, and I know that's not the easiest thing to find when you first start playing, so I know it's not easy to get to the cranberry area as well when you're a beginner, but if you can sneak over here and get up here, you'll be happy with the amount of screws that you're finding and whatnot, just to help you build the armor and maybe some weapons. There is a perfectly preserved pie on the roof of West Tech where I'm showing right here. So please do not pay $40,000 in somebody's vendor. I feel like people just do that for a joke, but yes, you do not have to get a perfectly preserved pie from one of the random luck machines. There is one that spawns up on the roof of West Tech, so this is probably how a lot of people always have one in their vendor. Easiest way to get the perfectly preserved pie, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you check the settings. I recommend having pacifist mode on, just so people aren't attacking you if you don't want them, or you're not shooting people and, you know, starting, you know, a little thing. Highly recommend having that on. The unopened perk card pack prompt is a game changer for me as well. If you have so many of them and you get sick of opening them, maybe you don't want your backpack visible. Things like this, you may just want to go through and check the settings, the display, the controls, all this stuff. There's definitely some stuff in here worth checking. Including, I was going to say too, the camera shaking. Yes, enable camera shaking. I would turn that off as well, especially at events where people like to use a lot of explosives. It just makes things better. And of course, you probably want to show the damage numbers as well. It's just kind of satisfying. If you cannot join your friend or they're not showing up on your list, I know this sounds crazy. Whoever's lobby or server you're trying to join, get that person to change their actual emblem, and then you should be able to join them. I know that sounds crazy, but yes, that is actually a thing. Now, if you need Nuka-Cola, the White Springs Refuge and Nuka-Cola World are definitely the two best places to go, especially if you need the rare ones. Just throwing that out there. Do not go to the Nuka-Cola factory. Go where I'm showing you, or where I was showing you there in the refuge, and you can come over to these machines as well, in case you need it to Nuka Grape or something like that, like I did. Also at Nuka World, this thing, which I call the healing machine, you can get the thirst zapper over here. It is good for other things as well, but this can be used to heal NPCs, like in a silo when you're launching a nuke, or even the robot at Irrational Fear, or the NPCs at Radiation Rumble. You can use this thirst zapper to heal them. All you have to do is get it and put the medics mod on it, a 1-star medics mod. And you'll be laughing. If you want to learn the plan for it, you need to buy a lot of them and scrap them. Easier said than done, but at least you can buy one to start. If you didn't know, with a workshop as well, you do not need to go up to the workshop to claim workshops. As long as you're within the vicinity and you push the button that changes you from first person to third person, I'm not sure what that would be on PC, it's the touchpad on PlayStation. If you hold that down, you can claim the workshop from a greater distance. Turrets. They take up a lot of camp budget, they really do, and I just recommend not using them at your camp. It's just my opinion, I feel like they're just not worth the camp budget. The trading post here I wanted to show you. There is a guaranteed leader bobblehead over here. It's not always here, but it's a guaranteed leader bobblehead. So it's always worth checking to come over here. This bobblehead will help you rank up a little bit faster for an hour. Now, crafting bulk stuff. If you ever need to scrap junk for aluminum, concrete, copper, anything that you can bulk, you can just bulk it and scrap it. Boom, challenge done. Another good one, if you ever need to mod a weapon, don't go trying to, do the expensive route. Just change the paint on it. It's 1 oil, and then you can get that done as many times. So that's going to cost me 25 oil to get that epic challenge done. The on and off trick. If you're trying to transfer all the stuff from all the enemies you just killed and it's giving you a problem and won't let you, just go on and off the corpse. It should fix it and you should be able to transfer. I couldn't get a perfect example here, but it should work for you. If you need to take a picture of an enemy, they do not have to be alive. As long as it shows what it is in the top right corner and you take the picture, you will get the challenge done. If you use the auto axe in first person, it does stutter a bit, especially after you jump. Just want to say, if you hop into third person, this will not happen. So if you're using the auto axe in first person, I do recommend you give it a try in third person. It is a little bit better, I have to admit. Although I do love first person. You can access the map while you are sitting. Why would this be useful? Maybe you want to heal yourself when you're, making noise at one violent night, right? So basically all you do is you sit down, you push your options button to bring up the map, and then you find a diamond on the map, you click on it, you make it show in Pip-Boy, then you have access to your Pip-Boy, and you can sit here and get hit all day, hit all the Radaway and all the stim packs that you need to stay alive. A lot of people don't know this, but you can hold the critical button down. You do not need to push it every critical. So fully automatic users, hold that critical button down. Throwing knives can be used against resilient enemies. I know this, I feel like you just wouldn't think about this, right? So if you are doing an event like Line in the Sand, especially with the Scorch Beast flying ahead of you or above you, and you need to hit him with a melee weapon, you could just throw a knife at him and finish him off. So I thought that was a pretty cool little tip. The White Springs train station blue suitcase. This is a magical suitcase. If you know, you know. Beginners, always check that suitcase. It might have some good loot in it. You can change the color of your Pip-Boy background, basically. I like to do a white color just because I feel like it's easy on the eyes, or maybe even a little bit of a turquoise color here. And you can change the view of your Pip-Boy as well. You can see I compared the white to the turquoise in case those are colors that may be a little easier on your eyes. If you're doing a lot of raids, you're probably getting a lot of serums. I recommend not just throwing them away or whatever. Just take them. It will negate the negative effects for an hour of every serum that you have. So make sure you're taking at least one of them before you're dropping them. I thought that was a cool little tip I read on Reddit a couple of weeks ago. If you want to put power through a wall, it's as simple as putting it through a door wall first or a window wall. And then basically all you do is just you switch it back. So basically I put this through the window first. You could have did it with a door, and then you just switch it back to a wall, and then you can have a wire through a wall. Simple as that. Also, another little trick here we call merging. I'm not too good at it, but this is how I merge some stuff. You do need the pressure plate here. And basically, if you put an item on top of it and then another item on top of that item, you can merge them together. Again, you can see I'm not too great at this, but you know, you can have some pretty cool results with this. So you basically do what I just said, and then you stand on the pressure plate as well. It's kind of a little finicky. You can see here, it took me a little bit of getting it to work. I feel like there's a magical spot you have to keep clicking sometimes, and you basically just pick it up and keep putting it down. You can see I moved it a little bit more to the edge here, got back on the pressure plate and started clicking it, and then the merging started happening. Now, possibilities are endless here, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys are merging and what kind of concoctions you're ending up with. I thought this was a good example how you can kind of just put a tinker's workbench into this, you know, shelf thing, and it just kind of looks cool. So like I said, possibilities are endless. Let me know in the comments what you guys are doing with this merging technique. If you have a sink in your camp, you can get as much dirty water as you want. Obviously, if you're near a body of water, it's better to just go collect it all. But if you hold the drink button, let off, and then push the collect button as fast as possible, you can accumulate a lot of dirty water fast. You can see I got 89 pretty quickly here, and this is just good for maybe lowering your health or getting a lot of rats. Also, with junk here, you can switch to components. So basically you can see the actual stuff that's in all the junk that you have, and you can tag it for search as well. So just go to the junk tab, it will prompt you at the bottom how to switch to component view, and then it'll prompt you how to tag stuff. So you can highlight junk and whatnot, and it'll have a magnifying glass on it if there's something in it that you want, or you have tagged, I should say. Please make your vendors findable, guys. I know this is a little bit over the top. I just wanted to get my point across. Make sure we can find your vendors at your camps, guys. Your vaults too, please. I'm begging you. Company tea. Oh my god, get this. Even if you're a carnivore, get it. It's 1,250 gold. You have to have the cautious rep, and you can get it at Crater from Mortimer as well. So definitely get the company tea machine. It's just amazing for AP replenishment. So sorting by weight. This can come in handy if you're wondering why you're a bit overweight. You can kind of just sort your weight. It'll prompt you how to do it at the bottom. I didn't even know I had some unrefined coal here in my, possession. So just do that. It'll put all the heavy stuff up at the top. Switching your gun, it's left on the directional pad if you're on console. I'm not sure what it would be on the keyboard. If you could let us know in the comments. And what this does is it switches back to the last gun you were using. So if you pull out a gun that had no ammo like I did and you need to switch back, you can just push this button quick, and you can see how quick you can switch in between weapons. Electric Absorption is an amazing legendary perk card. If you're in a power armor, it will refill your fusion cores if you are getting hit by energy weapons, so robots just don't have a chance against you, especially if you have bullet shield and ricochet as well. You can see here, this Assaultron just beamed me for a second and it basically killed itself and charged my fusion core. So highly recommend Electric Absorption. If you're overweight, you can fast travel still. By starting up an expedition, as soon as it starts, you can go to the White Springs Refuge. It will spawn you here. You can go downstairs to the mall, and then there's a spot in the mall that I'm going to show you that will have all the crafting tables that you will need. It has a junk box, a stash box, an ammo box. It has a gold bullion, pretty much everything you would need, right? So if you're ever, want to pick up stuff and just keep crawling around, just keep in mind you can do this to get away as well. Or if you don't have a survival tent. You can get out of terminals just by holding the back button. So a great example would be you're really far into the ammo converter. You've been buying or, selling a bunch of ammo and you just want to get out of the terminal. You don't want to push back a million times. Just hold the back button and you will get out of the terminal easily. This works on all terminals. If you ever need a pick a lock challenge, Freddy Fear's house here has 5 locks you can pick very close to each other, and you can server hop and unlock these doors as well. There's 1 safe and 4 doors I'm going to show here, and you can get this done really fast. So I thought this was extremely useful. Again, guys, don't be re-rolling those dailies. Try to just keep re-rolling the weeklies. I really wanted to make sure I covered as many daily challenges as I could here. If you need soap, we can come to the New River Gorge Bridge here. And if you go over to the tower over here, I did try to mark it, but it marked the bush. But we're looking for the tower over there in the distance. So you're going to have to run over there. And you're going to look for a bathtub with a skeleton in it. And there will be a ton of soap in it. There's no daily or weekly challenge that will, you won't need enough soap. Or you won't have enough soap in this bathtub for, if that makes sense. So thought that was a cool little tip. If you ever need a Mirelurk egg, you can come over to the Ohio River Adventures here. All along the bank on either side of it, there are Mirelurk eggs. Sometimes you'll get a hatchling, sometimes you'll get an egg, so you may have to go around. If you ever need a Deathclaw egg, you can come to the abandoned waste dump here that I'm showing. And there, again, with the Mirelurk eggs, there's more spawn locations, but this was just the best place I thought for the Deathclaw eggs. You can go anywhere where Deathclaws are, and there's usually a nest, but you're basically looking for the nests. And I wanted to show this spot is because there is 2 nests in here, and there's usually a pristine, not a pristine Deathclaw, I think that's Fallout 4. There is a fully intact Deathclaw egg here, and you do need this for some daily challenges. Sometimes I think you have to make a Deathclaw Wellington or whatever it is. I'm pretty sure that's what it takes, or you need a Deathclaw egg for. So in case you ever need it, you can find them here. Unfortunately, I couldn't get footage of it. Vault 76, all these places are free fast travel, so just get to know these if you're a beginner. The crater is a fast travel area to go to. You could basically get around the whole map now, guys. The White Springs Resort, the White Springs North Entrance, the mall, the refuge, foundation, the Rose Room I'm going to show in a second here as well. The Rusty Pick is all fast travel, guys, or free fast travel. The trading post here as well is free fast travel. And the Rose Room as well I'm going to show. I think I am missing one. Oh, Nuka World on tour as well is free fast travel. And as I was saying, the Rose Room as well. So very good to know if you're trying to save some caps. Also, I think hordes are a little bit underrated. They don't always work out, but more often than not, I'll just click fast travel to a horde, and I will be brought to a bunch of enemies with a 3-star. So it's like an easy way to get a 3-star. It's a really easy way to get a lot of good materials. It's a quick event to get done and over with. I really feel like they're a bit overlooked. Try hopping servers and just going to hordes and see all the good stuff you get. Trust me, guys. If you ever need to get bubblegum, you can come to Clarksburg here. Shout out to Finders Keepers for showing me this one. And you can come over here to the Grey Tortoise here, the hardware store. And there is some bubblegum underneath the cash register here. There are a couple of robots, so keep that in mind. And yes, again, there is bubblegum in the little shelves down here. But if you have a lot of extra perk card packs that you haven't opened, like myself, that's probably the best way to get bubblegum. And all you have to do is open up one pack and you will get some bubblegum. Definitely the simplest way to do, not so easy if you're a beginner. Just want to say, Expeditions are absolutely amazing. I don't feel like they're underrated. I feel like most people know how amazing they are for ammo, for XP, for getting legendaries, especially the most sensational game. Unfortunately, I know this one does freeze up a lot. I wish they would really fix this, but, you know, tax evasion's another good one to do if, you know, get sick of this one. But I do recommend the most sensational game, and just expeditions in general, guys. They're very, very good to get to know. The same with raids. Even if you're a beginner, I will link a video in the description telling you everything you need to know about raids. So even if you're a beginner, you can hop on a team with us here or maybe somebody else, and I wouldn't kick you as long as you know what you're doing or you're helping us. As long as you're not slowing us down or just standing there not doing anything, right? And the reason I tell you to just go do this is because you get legendary, 4-star legendary mods from raids. You rank up super fast from raids. There's just so many reasons to do raids. And my point is just not to be afraid to do them. Join some teams. Check out the video that I'm going to link in the description so you have a fine knowledge of doing the raids and people will be happy with you being on their team. And just, you know, then everybody can reap the rewards and everybody will be happy. And that is pretty much it, everybody. 76 tips and tricks. Let me know if you didn't know any of these. Let me know if I missed any that you would like to point out in the comments. I highly recommend you check out those comments. Probably a lot of other good tips as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.